Welcome back to The Verdict. And we've been having a very interesting conversation about the history of elections in this country, and we're looking at different angles. We just heard a short while ago from our correspondent in Kano there, Idris Jibrin, and he was talking about some of the security issues that they've been having, people who have been injured, and also those who have been arrested for bearing arms when they shouldn't. So, Prof, I'm going to come back to you now, Professor Yebode, and ask you what you think about the history of security during elections in this country, even when you look at 2003, 2007, 2011, 2015, you know. I mean, what would you say about our security scorecard in this country?
Well, it's sort of a mixed bag. We've had instances where the police and even the military were brought into the picture in an overbearing posture. I remember the example of the late IG of police, Adeusi, Sunday Adeusi, who imported vans with riot control, not just tear gas, all sorts of things, to terrorize people.
That would be 1983. Probably.
Yes, the 83, either moonslide or whatever they called it then. So there's been some yearning to de-emphasize the role of security people. But the sad truth of the situation is that our underdevelopment does not allow complete removal of security personnel from the streets. Because elsewhere, when elections are conducted, the police or security agents have a discrete superintendence of the electoral process. I mentioned Madagascar 3 months ago when I was there. The police were around, but you didn't see that type of
physical arms,
harassing people. I never saw in the various polling points.
Did you see them bearing arms?
No, they were regular gear, of police. But I'm saying it's difficult here to ask our police or other security agents to hands off the electoral process. Even the hustings, you saw what happened in Ogun State, where certain party members were attacked. And you heard how I heard a drunken security person caused the fire incident in Plateau. In Abia, they have problems. We've had problems with securing even election materials. I don't know what's going to happen in Plateau now.
Because that's a big question that we will also put to Mr. Uzi. What happens when all those PVCs are destroyed?
Yes.
And that's the second one. That's not the first one. That's the second one. The Plateau one is the second one.
So quite sincerely, I think we have a problem with underdevelopment. And the conscientization that Mr. Uzi was talking about is difficult to carry out because the people seem to be lethargic about this process. Because the choice that we have, especially in the presidential elections, the choice is not that stark. So many people will say, what does it matter? I went to talk in Calabar a few months ago, they call it political summit in Calabar, and I was invited by a radio station. And they were surprised when I said, look, I don't have any real yearning, any incentive to go and vote. I said, because I look at the leading contenders, the choice is between Tweedledee and Tweedledum, 6.5 dozen, okay? And really, I don't know, but maybe INEC brought the problem on itself by the large number of parties that it registered. It wanted, of course, to fulfill all righteousness in line with the court decision in the Nigerian Conscience Party case when Gani went up to the Supreme Court to get the party registered. But what we have seen now is a situation where the medicine seems worse than the disease. So we have to do something about this humongous number of 91 parties, 73 presidential. You just look and I hear the ballot paper is going to be a booklet.
Well, you're going to have to fold it nicely as well. that he was talking about. For you in the Institute of National Transformation, how are you transforming people's minds in this season? How do you see the apathy, what Prof was talking about, you know, the social, you know, fabric of the nation now?
Well, when the Institute started, the consciousness to raise leaders with value-based, no excuse kind of leaders. And we emphasize on the no excuse. He's talking about Madagascar, that he just came back. I wish he also told me the value orientation that the people now have. The trajectory from even before independence, the agitation for independence, and the whole 9 yards from Ghana to us and all the wrestling of the West African British colonial group. The sense of understanding what nation building was all about was missing. You cannot have a nation with so many people who are indisciplined, so many people who are not educated. And when we say education, not just the classroom education, because a lot of Nigerians have the issue of classroom education. But as you go down deep into the history of politics, I saw something very crucial, that the cultural issues, the religious issue, the ethnicity matters, was still embedded within a society that was trying to merge together. There's something that Lin Kuan Yew said about Africa. So when he came to Nigeria, he found out that their ethnic loyalty superseded their national consciousness, or their patriotism, as the case may be.
You still see that today.
And that is still playing.
Will he still play out on Saturday?
He's gonna still play. But this time around, like Prof said, okay, lo and behold, you have 2 Fulanis now. Lo and behold, you have 2 Muslims. So all of us are going to queue behind 2 of them, or decide to do a revote vote and decide to vote for someone else just to cast the vote. It may not count in the numbers.
It's like shooting an arrow into the air.
Exactly. Just to prove a point that I'm just upset, but I'm still going out. But we must understand that for us as the Institute, our desire, for example, we wish we had the National Orientation Agency. We wish we had that machinery. You wish you want to play their own role?
No, I said the machinery. The machinery.
But you made a comment about them earlier.
To educate people. We had 4 years to do this. Elections are scheduled. They are not magic or something that happens within a twinkle of an eye. They are scheduled. So agencies who are charged with such responsibility need to do the job.
Because you made a comment earlier about them, that you seem to feel that they are absent and they're not doing what they should be doing.
They are not doing what they're supposed to do. I was at a conference and a young guy, a youth, asked, he said, where is NOA? I hear of National Orientation Agency. Who are they exactly? What is their role? That's a young man asked. He said, I don't have an idea of who you guys are. Whatever you're doing, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And those are the facts that are on the ground. But we need to recognize that, whether it's at the educational level, at the university, at the secondary school, our people do not have the brandedness. They are not Nigerians yet. They are just existing within a society and trying to identify themselves. And now you have a population of almost 70 million youths. And still there is no policy, there is no clear-cut understanding that, look, nation building, a people must become citizens. And are being citizens, they take responsibility. One of our values is that people must take responsibility for the society. We can't blame Ghana for our elections. We can't blame Britain forever for our elections. We can't blame someone else for our elections.
In fact, now they don't even want them to observe right now.
Well, they just can't do that. I mean, those are bogus statements that are being made that also have some responsibility. The sense of responsibility, we need to be cautious as a people because we're not there yet.
All right, let me put you on pause and go to Abuja. And now, again, we're back here. We're talking about security. And I just look at it from the viewpoint that in elections prior to now, historically,